time. Something has got to happen because we can no longer go down the path that we're going down. This country won't last another 6 months. This country won't last another 12 months if something doesn't happen. So it's time to flip the switch. It's time to get involved. It's time to move the line forward. And if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. So I don't care what flip the switch is. I don't care if that means that all of this nonsense is nonsense, or if some of it's true. All right. Good evening and welcome, Warriors, World Patriots, and my fellow Americans. My name is Mike. I'm the host of the Liberty Warrior. Give me liberty or give me death. When tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. It is Tuesday evening, June the 7th, 2022. How's everybody doing tonight? Sorry, I'm running a few minutes late. I had a very busy afternoon, to say the least. And then my phone died. And it's just been one little roller coaster after the next. But got a great show planned for you tonight. Thank you so much, Gerald, for the super chat. Loved your Dr. Seuss story. If you guys haven't heard it yet, after I got two wonderful ladies joining me tonight. After we get this show started, I will pull up that story about Dr. Seuss if you haven't heard about it yet. I'd love to share it with everybody. It does make me laugh. It's a great story, so I'll share that with you tonight. Tonight's show is brought to you by Miles Franklin. Listen, silver is still under $23 an ounce, and if you're in the market for buying silver or gold, check out Andy and his team at Miles Franklin. You can go to info@milesfranklin.com. Use promo code Liberty Warrior Nation. It helps out the show here, keeps the lights on. And right now is the best time to buy while it's still cheap. I don't know if it's going to go up. I don't know if it's going to go down. All I know is the way that our government is going to continue to print money and spin their way out of a 40-year high inflation. 40-year high. The Democrats just came out today and said, listen, they're going to print some more money and they're going to keep spending it. What are they going to do? They're going to enlarge our government. They're going to put in a new government entity. And I'll share more with that here with you guys in just a minute. So what does that mean? They have no plan for this high inflation. So in my opinion, I think it's imminent before this economy crashes. And wise people would have just a little bit of silver on hand if you could afford it to ensure that if that happens, you can trade with it. You can give it to your kids. Graduation right around the corner. My daughter just graduated last Saturday. I gave her 4 silver coins for her graduation present. Her grandparents gave her a couple other silver coins. So I think she, all in all, I think she walked away with 6 or 7 1-ounce silver coins for graduation, just from my family. So great gift. And I'm telling you, folks, not only silver, but water, fuel, seeds, extra cans of food, whatever you can possibly stuff away for a rainy day. I'm telling you, it would be wise if you could do that, because it's coming and it's going to come hard and fast like a freight train. With that being said, I got 2 wonderful ladies with me tonight, and we are going to have a great show for you guys. So let's bring them in. Of course, we got the Hammer.
Hey,
How
Mike.
you doing, Tammy?
Good. Good evening. Good
But,
evening.
hey, it has been a long time. It's been a long time, but she's feeling good. She's got her energy back, and it's been long awaited. We have missed her. Let's bring in the General, Mary Kay. How are you doing this evening, Mary?
I'm great, thanks. I'm great.
That's good. It's great to have you back, Mary. I know you were down there for a little while, but you're looking good. Love to see the smile on your face. And listen, folks, she's back, and she's never left, and she's still in the fight. We're all in the fight. I know she's on Ladies Night every Thursday, but it's been a while since I've had her on my show, so I'm glad to have her back.
Thanks, Mike. Good to be
Well,
back.
it's biblical, ladies. It's biblical. There is so much going on. It's hard to keep up. For those of you who are not on Truth Social yet, watch out for Tammy there. She is all over that thing. She can't stay off of it because there's so much information coming out hourly that Tammy will send me something. Hey, have you read this yet? Have you seen that? And I'm going through it. It's just, check it out. You can access it through your Android or through your laptops now. Go to truthsocial.com, set up an account, find Tammy Nation over there. You can find me over there at Liberty Warrior Nation. Mary, are you on Truth Social yet?
I found it on Telegram, and I've been having telephone problems. I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of AT&T, and so I may be getting a new phone. It's in the works. I will get it all figured out, but I do have it so that I can, I'm watching Twitter, and I'm also on Telegram, and I've already been over to your site, and I watch Tammy. I watch you guys all the time.
That's awesome. Well, Tammy, I'm gonna just gonna hand it over to you and let you steer the bus for a little while.
Just for until he can't stand it anymore. He's just being a gentleman for a moment. No, that's okay. So you guys, I don't know. I hope you got to see Matthew McConaughey today. He was at the White House speaking out about everything that happened as far as, with these shootings and stuff with these children and stuff, which is actually, I think it goes without saying, it is devastating and all that. But we know that the Dems are going after the gun grabs and all that kind of stuff. And I found it interesting because his speech was very animated, very dramatic, and very emotional. He did a great homage to these children that were lost, because there's no way you can express the correct amount of feelings when somebody loses a child, of course. But what I found interesting was he was saying that, we're at a moment, we have this one chance at this time to be able to.
Just one chance.
That's what he said. Just one chance to come at this moment and get this straightened out and get this worked out. Now, he didn't give any ideas of basically what we need to do or anything, but I just found it ironic, because what happens is this cycles over and over and over and over again. And they always go after the emotional trauma that everybody feels when they see this, but then they don't have a solution other than taking our guns away. So, I don't know. I guess
hold on just a minute, Tammy. Taking guns away from law-abiding citizens.
Yes. So I was just kind of disappointed. I think he did a great homage to the children. It was very beautiful and well done, and I felt it. But it just felt kind of off to me, and I'm not quite sure why. So I don't know if you guys got to see it or heard about it or anything, but it just didn't sit quite right with me. I couldn't figure out what that point was, if you know what I'm saying.
Mary, you want to comment?
Well, I can tell you that I think most everyone in the audience recognizes that these events are indeed orchestrated. And if people are not aware of that, then don't go away. You need to stay at this channel and pay attention, because it is unfortunate that so many of these school shootings happen, and they're always at a specific time, and they're always a form of satanic sacrifice of these children. And they are always to draw your attention away from something more important that is happening. That does not in any way minimize the agony, the violence, the viciousness, the evil that has gone on there, and the suffering that has ensued. That's what they want. That is their goal. And at one point in time, I would have thought, man, people can't be that bad. Well, I'm here to tell you they can. And it is truly unfortunate. But one of the things, when we first came on, I saw in chat, and I loved it. Karen Thompson wrote in there, and she said, constitutional carry needs to be in every state. That's exactly right. When I was living in Texas, and I would go to the gun range, and and I would practice being a responsible gun owner and do my thing. Those were the most polite people I've ever met. Everybody knew you were armed, and you knew how to use the weapons. And so, unless somebody has really been around guns, they grew up with them, or like me, later in life learned how to use one, and get around those people and understand that, man, they are good people and they're polite people.
I don't disagree with you, Mary. So here's my thought and my take on this. One, Democrats never let any good crisis go to waste. They will always take the opportunity to spin propaganda, to put out a narrative to take our guns. Joe Biden himself said that the Second Amendment is not absolute. He went further to say that none of our rights are absolute. I don't know if people caught that or not, but I sure did. and it fired me up. So a gun grab is always the first thing that they go after, and of course they're the best salesman for gun sales there possibly could be, because as soon as they start screaming gun grab, everybody rushes out and buys millions of them. So guess what, America? Buy them all up. That's my theory on it. And I did a report today where there is a representative out of North Carolina. I can't remember what his name was, but he is trying to push his bill now through the Senate. And what he wants to do is to harden schools. Now, my thought about that is I still have kids in school, and I agree there are certain things that we could probably do to ensure the security of our children, and I'm definitely for that. My heart bleeds for those parents that have lost children in school shootings. That has to be the most horrific thing you could possibly go through. And, it's sad to see something like that happen. But what I don't want to see is I don't want to have to drop my children off at the school and watch them walk into a maximum security prison. I don't think that's the answer either. I don't think we should have fences and barbed wire and armed guards and shooting towers and locked gates and all this stuff around the perimeter of our schools to try to keep our children safe. I just don't want my kid going to a prison. If that's going to be the case, then I guess I'm going to gather with like-minded people and we'll have our own private school somewhere. So this is where I stand on the whole issue. The worst problems happen in the blue states and the blue cities. Yes, Texas is a conservative state. Yes, Texas is a red state. But the majority of our issues are all where blue lies. So Chicago, nobody talks about Chicago. There's hundreds and thousands of kids that lose their lives yearly. And I don't see Biden or anyone else over there raising hell about Chicago. New York, another great place where people lose their lives. Nothing said about that state. San Francisco, LA, where they have nothing but gun-free zones. Nothing said, nothing done. But yet they have the strictest gun laws in the country, and they have the highest rate of crime. These people are guarded by armed personnel. They've got Secret Service guarding them. They have marshals guarding them. They have local police officers guarding them. They all carry Glocks. They all carry AR-15s to protect our politicians, but we're not willing to protect our kids. And I have an issue with that. So again, back to my point, every state in the union should be a constitutional state, because if it's a constitutional carry state and everybody's armed, the bad guys aren't going to be so reluctant to rush in and do anything stupid because they know that they're not going to last that long. We put a target on our children when we make schools a gun-free zone. That puts a target on our kids. When I was in high school, I seen a lot of this stuff going around the internet in the last 10, 14 days. When I was in school, we carried buck knives on our hips. We had shotguns and high-powered hunting rifles in the back window of our Chevy, Dodge, and Ford pickups that were in the parking lot. It wasn't an abnormal thing for us.
Mike, I saw a great tweet today, and it was probably older, but it was from Hillary, and she had stated, no one actually needs an AR-15, and the response was, no one actually had 56 friends commit suicide.
Yeah, boom.
I would probably take my chances up against somebody with an AR-15 versus take my chances against Clinton's side by far. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And I would like to touch back on the point that Mary made about the people that aren't aware of guns or been around them. So that's what one of the tools they use over and over again is the people that don't have any experience in guns. They show them these horrible images, the horrible things, and put that fear factor in. So of course, people automatically, nobody wants to see that happen to a child. Absolutely not. But if you are uneducated and realize if the good people don't have guns, who's going to have them? because you're not going to have the bad guys or the criminals give up their guns. And it's going to
No.
set off a firestorm of a black market of even more guns that the bad guys or the criminals will get. And before you know it, there'll be gangs that are fully loaded and ready to go, taking over your neighborhood, in my opinion, because that already happens here and other major cities as well. You know, they have these initiations, gang initiations, where they just randomly take people out coming off expressways and stuff. So there's more to it than just this. It is getting the guns out of the bad guys or criminals' hands and make them pay and face consequences, so they won't even try it in the first place, because it's far, far too easy for them to go in, do some damage, and get out and not get caught.
Tammy, you know the first person that's going to stand in line to hand over their weapon?
Who?
It's going to be the law-abiding citizen. Those are the people that would come in and say, well, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to hand over my gun. The criminals aren't going to do it. You're exactly right. So what we're going to do is disarm our civilian population. We will be fed to the wolves when it comes to the criminals. There will be no stopping them at that point. And that's what these guys want to do. They want to disarm America so they can take over, so that they can control us. And it's not happening on my watch. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving in. If nothing else, I'm going to go out and buy a couple more while I can. You know, here's a stat for both of you. Did you guys realize what the percentage of all of the mass shootings in America are done by AR-15s?
What's the number? No.
3%. 3% of all the mass shootings here in America are done with an AR-15. The rest of them are done with handguns. Do you guys realize that the Democrat Party, along with Turtle Man and the other guy that we dislike, Lindsey Graham, and the rest of them, all the gang, they want to eliminate magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. Okay, that includes handguns. And I've said this earlier last week. Listen, folks, most handguns have at least 13 round magazines. So that means any handgun that any of us hold right now pretty much would be a felony to have. That includes 22s, that includes 9mm, that includes 40s, 45s, 44s. Any of those handguns pretty much would be illegal, including AR-15s on 22 caliber, 243. Any of those guns that holds more than 10 rounds, they want them to be illegal. I want people to be aware of that, because some people are asleep at the wheel here, and they don't realize that this bill they're trying to pass would pretty much eliminate 98% of the weapons here in America.
And that, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is so true. And the people that aren't familiar with guns, that just say get rid of it because they want this horrific shootings that go on year after year to stop, just say, okay, get rid of them, because they want the issue to end. But that is a very valid point, because people will argue, no, it's just the AR-15s. And, you know, I saw a great quote today, and it said that the men who wrote the Second Amendment did not just finish a hunting trip. They just finished liberating a nation, because so many people,
yes.
Do you like that one, Mike?
I like that one a lot.
Because so many people compared it to shooting a deer with Kevlar. I keep hearing that over and over again, and that is absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
The Second Amendment was not written by a bunch of hunters. The Second Amendment was written by a bunch of outlaws. They were outlaws, were they not? When they signed the Declaration of Independence, they were signing their own death warrants. So they were outlaws, and that's why they wrote the Second Amendment. It was to fight against tyrannical government, and I don't think people out there really do understand that. Can you buy a cannon? Absolutely. You can buy a cannon. Joe Biden, everything that comes out of that man's mouth is a lie, just so everybody's aware of that. If you haven't figured it out yet, he's a liar. If I could afford an F-14, F-18, I'd have one in my backyard.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's the argument made that some people are making. Oh, go ahead, Mary. I'll make this point after you go ahead and say what you wanted to say.
Oh, no, that's okay, Tammy. I was just going to say, you know, since I live in Mexico, and they do not have the right to own guns of any kind. Many, many people, trust me, have guns. You can legally own guns in Mexico to protect yourself in your home. But they don't have concealed carry, they don't have open carry, they don't have any of that kind of thing. And it's basically based on who you are and who you know if you can get those guns. But I can tell you this, a lot of the Mexicans are not, they have, they're being programmed. They're being programmed over the last about 10 or 15 years as more and more cell phones come out and the kids walk down the street glued to the cell phone. They're being programmed, no question about it. But right now, everybody is very aware that if the government came out and said, yes, everybody needs to turn in their guns, that nobody would do that, because then the only people that had guns were all the cartels,
Yeah.
which most of the guns that have been purchased, not most, I really don't know a number, but a huge number of them were sold to the cartels by the corrupt government in the United States through the CI, through the C underscore, y'all know what I'm saying, 3
Yes.
letters, and the F underscore, 3 letters. And so everybody here is not quite as naive as so many people in the United States truly are. And that's one of the reasons for this show. It's kind of like, okay, y'all, you need to wake up now.
Yes.
Now.
Can I
Absolutely.
make another comment before you take it back there, Tammy?
Yes.
That I want people to realize. I've seen this on True Social. I'm sure you have too, Tammy. Realize this, folks. Our U.S. government wants to arm the Ukrainian people because they consider them allies. Our government wants to disarm the Russian people and Vladimir Putin because they consider them an enemy. Our U.S. government wants to disarm the American citizen. That's my point.
Next time you don't get to go in front of me, because that was my point that I wanted to say. We're spending all these billions. Yeah, he got me. Going over there for that to arm them, but us, we're supposed to give it all up. Go ahead, Mayor.
No, I was just laughing. That's exactly right. But the thing is, people need to get over this naive belief that the government is our friend.
Yeah, why would they do this to us? They want the
No,
best for us.
Yeah, the government is not our friend. Unfortunately, the medical community is not our friend. Unfortunately, what's going on in the financial community, these people are not our friends. And those are hard pills to swallow for people who have lived their entire life actually developing trust in these huge organizations, and because they are so good at spinning everything, twisting it,
Yes.
they come up with nice names like family planning. The plan is to stop the family. They don't tell you that's
Or
the
divide the
plan.
family. Or divide the family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And with as far as the medical community, that turns me to the next thing I thought we could talk about was, we talked about the monkeypox coming around the mountain. Here she comes. Well, it is here because today when I was at work, I saw on the TV, Fox News actually put out the C Health Organization is advising everybody to put this back on our face, because the monkeypox is going around like crazy, spreading really quick. And the ironic thing, we covered this and we warned people because it's not an airborne virus. Also, it's not airborne at all. So also that we said with the C word, it had a number of, let's say 7, which means it's highly contagious. Okay. So it's likely you can spread it very easily, quickly. With monkeypox, it's less, one person is not going to spread it to one person very easily. It's not person to person. It's easily contained because the number is 1 versus the 7 with the other C word. So we went over that. So the thing is, the first one didn't work. So let's see if we can have a new one work, and they want to do this to us again. So I'm hoping people don't fall for it this time around. And I hope they don't rush out to try to get the little jabberdoodle that they've paid for millions of them for that. So I don't know if you guys heard about that or know anything about the monkeypox thing or have any comments about that.
I'll let Mary go first.
Oh, well, my favorite meme that I saw a few days ago was, is it monkeypox season already? I still have my Ukrainian decorations up.
Oh,
Well,
I'll tell
Mike-
you a funny story, Tammy. My son, LW Jr., was making fun of monkeypox, and he said, "What's going to be next, Dad? Giraffe pox?"
Yep.
That's a 10-year-old boy who pays a lot of attention to his dad.
Out of the mouth of babes. Well, I saw a little meme thing that you put out too, Mike, on Truth Social or Twitter. You said that you thought you were catching monkeypox because why was it that you put out there? You thought you caught it?
I had a strong desire to eat a banana, and I couldn't stop at one, so I had to eat 2. So I figured I contracted monkeypox.
So, you gotta laugh, and I'm just hoping and praying that America's wisened up this time around, and nobody falls for it. You can go research it and find out the details. A lot of it is the smallpox as well, with the jabberdoodle they're giving you, and it also some said that they were going to use shingles, which is a side effect of the C thingamajigger, and they're going to use that as the monkeypox. So to show you these images, horrible images of what it can do to you, but it's really shingles. So, you don't have to believe us. Just go ahead and research it yourself just before you put that back on your face.
My theory is this, Tammy, Mary, is that they're going to try to introduce another fear factor here with the monkeypox so that people will continue to rush out and get the vacation. See, what's happened is they've lost their power over us. So many people have absolutely stopped believing in taking the vacation. And so that's a big problem to them. And they've actually, I think you're the one that reported on this, Tammy. They've actually lost a lot of those vacations due to outdated, or they couldn't keep them for very long. And so they've lost, I don't know, I think it's millions of those, I think. And so now
40
they've got
million.
40 million. So now they got to hype it back up and get people to drag their kids down and do all that nonsense all over again. We just got done watching a very interesting news clip. Well, it wasn't a news clip. We got done watching a very interesting movie clip that was sent to me by John Estabrooks that I will be sharing with everybody. I just got to figure out how I'm going to share it with you, but it pretty much lays out exactly what's going on. And we're not stupid. We've already wakened up. I don't want to say woke up, because that's a different word. So we're just not playing ball anymore. We're not playing ball anymore.
Right. It almost seems like they're just so desperate. They're just going to be, tossing that stuff out there over and over again. And, it just gets more pitiful and more pitiful as the time goes on. It's amazing to me. Another thing coming out, you guys, that I'm excited about is July 17th. There is this documentary coming out called S Election Code. And what it is, it's the story of Tina Peters, who is the county clerk in Mesa, Colorado. She was the one who made the backup of her county's DV system server. And what happened is she has all the evidence, of course, because she has the backup of manipulation in the local city council thing, and then also the 2020 E. And it's the story of what the results were by her having this and how her life got upended and all the stuff that she went through because of having this information. And it's coming out July 17th. And she's saying basically it's all about how the machines are programmed. And it's called coding the V. Instead of electing, you select. And it's a program. And so there's really, once you program it, it just does what you tell it to do. And I think that it's going to be another vessel for us to find out how screwed up this most, I guess, secure E we ever saw is not so secure. So I don't know if you guys heard about that or not.
Well, I know a little bit about it real quick. Thanks for hitting that like button, folks. I see a few comments in chat about hitting the like, and that helps us out. Share us out. We're less than 100 subscribers away from hitting, guess what number, Tammy? What's the number that we're about to hit for subscribers on YouTube?
17.
17. Help us get 17,000. Share this out. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Yeah, the whole machine thing that you're speaking of. And to answer a question in chat real quick, it's off of X-Files. The movie clip is off of X-Files. I'll try to grab it here and drop the link in chat for you guys. But I told you guys that Greg Phillips said just the other day what they have coming to hit these guys with. It's going to hit them broadside, and it's 10 times bigger than the 2K donkeys. And I know that Mike Lindell also has something else to do with it as well. He's bringing a lot more information. So there is that movie that you speak of there, Tammy, that I'm telling you, man, they can't stop what's coming. Dinesh put that out on Memorial Day weekend to, I think, 375 different theaters across America. They said something like over 20 million Americans have already seen the 2K donkey, and it keeps growing and growing and growing. People keep sharing it. They keep sharing it out on platforms. I've seen it on Facebook. I've seen it everywhere. They can't stop. Listen, Facebook can't stop 40 billion people. Everybody keeps putting it out there. Let them try to take us all down. I just laugh.
Mayor?
Well, I saw United We Stand in there telling us that I'm sorry, I got distracted. There was a very loud noise. There was a very loud noise outside, and I was trying to turn the mic back off and back on. And so anyway, but yes, that they always tell us up front what they're doing, that is part of their religious satanic code, that they always have to tell us where they are and what kind of bad things they're doing. And so, as a result of that,
yes,
what I have that everyone's going to love is the whiteboard. Here comes the whiteboard, so that we all learn and remember. Here is Mary's amazing memos. And what does it say? What is this is according to Google Earth. What is the direct mileage from the Georgia Guidestones to the UN? Anybody want to guess?
Me. I want to
go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I'm gonna guess 666 miles.
Oh, you got it. Good job, Mike. Whoa, but that's kind of creepy.
That's wild.
Georgia Guidestones. I'm not talking driving miles. If you look up driving miles, if you do your research, it's not driving miles. It is direct line. Wow. And so, they are telling us we have to expand our minds and understand that this is indeed a war of good versus evil, and we have to be aware that when these horrific things are happening, like the Uvalde shooting, And now then, uh, maybe to change the topic just a little bit, but on one of the sites I saw this afternoon, I knew that there were a lot of attacks on food processing centers. We've all been watching that. We've all talked about that. But here is a list of 50 since February.
Whoa.
This year?
50 this year, February 5, Wisconsin River Meats facility destroyed by fire. February 15th, Bonanza Meat in El Paso, Texas. February 22nd, Scherer's Foods Processing in Hermiston, Oregon. And it goes on and on all over the United States. And so if I love you all out there, you need to listen to us. If
Amen.
you're in denial about what's going on here, they are really attacking the food, and it's imperative that you prepare. Imperative.
Well, there was also not that long ago one of the biggest chicken farms somewhere in the U.S. that also something happened with that too, where it got destroyed and stuff. So I mean,
I'll tell you on that, Tammy.
yeah,
I believe it's Michigan. I was just reading about this. Listen here, folks. I'm gonna try to. I know most of you, or I'd say probably 99.9% of everybody watching and listening right now are like-minded like us, and you guys have all been paying attention. I'm talking to the ones when you guys share this video out that have never seen LWN before, have no clue what's really going on. I'm talking to you people. Listen to this. I think it was Michigan or Minnesota just lost 3 million chickens just this week or late last week. Okay. They produced around 3 million eggs a day on this farm. They lost it to fire. So what does 3 million eggs a day calculate by the end of the week? Okay, that's 21 million eggs. Think of how many grocery stores around the country are no longer going to have that supply coming to their grocery store because of just that one farm. Okay, that doesn't mean that we all lose all eggs across America, but I'm telling you that is a huge, huge deal, and they're not the only chicken farm around here. I believe we lost some chickens in Iowa, Kentucky. I know that a turkey farm also lost millions of turkeys. The prices of eggs are going up. I'm just warning you people. Mary is warning you people right now. This is an attack on the American people, and how they're going to try to defeat us is they're going to try to cause the fuel prices to get so high that nobody can even buy fuel. I just reported today there is a gas station in Northern California. Premium is $9.76 a gallon. Okay. Rest of America is above $4 a gallon. Parts of America above $5 a gallon. California is now above $7 a gallon. And they're going to try to starve us. They're going to try to control us by food. So they're attacking our food processing plants. They're attacking our farmers. All I'm saying to you who have never seen LWN before, wake up. Please wake up before it's too late and join this movement. Help us here at LWN. Help support us. Subscribe to us. Share us out, because this is shocking to a lot of you who've never heard this before. But I'm telling you right now, the rest of us have been planning for this for quite a while, and we are part of this movement, and we're here to help.
And, you know, for a while they were going around killing chickens and stuff, saying they were sick. It was some kind of disease going on. And, you know, now it's the whole entire farms and stuff, which, you know, they're just exasperating it, making it worse. You know, it's a lot harder to replace an entire farm and facility than it is to replace some chickens that they have to take out. So I think they're amping up their game, definitely, and unfortunately. And you're right. So many people for a long time time think, oh, it's just a little bit of a shortage. It's just the truckers. It'll get all fixed out, because remember, it was the truckers for a while and they couldn't get things off barges and stuff. Now it's into this. So when you look at the bigger picture and you back away, you realize they're going all around every way they can to nail us in every way they can. I mean, from the food to the baby formula, to the supplies, for a while it was toilet paper. I mean, it just goes to show you they can take anything out in a moment's notice that they want to. They can stop it at any time. So just loading up and being prepared isn't going to break the bank, and it's going to give you a peace of mind. You don't have to fill your whole basement or your whole garage up with supplies, but just having a little bit is not going to hurt anything, and it's stuff that you're going to use anyhow, but it'll give you that peace of mind.
Absolutely. And I want people also to realize when I'm talking about the chickens, because Kathy Weekly, she put in a good comment there in chat. Listen, folks, if you lose 3 million chickens, you're not going to go down to the local hatchery and grab 3 million more chickens, and tomorrow they're going to start laying 3 million eggs. It takes anywhere, because I've had chickens, it takes anywhere from 6 to 9 months before those chickens will actually start laying eggs. So think about this for a minute. If you are a chicken farmer and you just lost your entire flock of 3 million chickens that took you years and years and years to build up to, how long is it going to take that little farm to get back on its feet again? They're not going to be able to produce eggs for quite a while, probably a year, if not longer, to get back to 3 million. It's going to take them a long time to get back to that. So that problem isn't just here tonight and gone tomorrow. That problem stays with us for a very long time.
It's a chain reaction, definitely. And don't forget, they also are pushing plant-based foods, this plant diet they want us on. And I was freaked out because somebody sent me a picture of a protein bar, and it said insect protein on it, because you notice how they're pushing insects is a diet thing as well. And I know that there's a certain amount of insects that are allowed in chocolate or flour. There's a certain level that are allowed to be in there. Then when they grind it up and stuff, now they're just labeling it as protein. And in my opinion, you're just letting them all just go in there, and then they don't have to just take them out, and they're calling it protein. It's disgusting. I don't want to eat fake food. I don't want to eat, if people want to do that, that's their business, but I don't want to be forced to it. And to me, with the meat, the prices of the meat, it's ridiculous. For a while there, I couldn't find chicken. It still is hard to find chicken breasts and stuff like that. Sometimes you can find wings, like off-brand of wings or whatever, but around me, it's really hard pressed to find a variety of any of that anymore in the stores.
I got a question for Mary. Mary, are you aware of, we've got an attack on America where they're killing our poultry, chickens and turkeys. They're going to go after our cattle. They've gone after our farmers. Are you aware of Mr. Gates creating synthetic meat? He's also been a part of creating, how do I want to put this? I think there's already synthetic baby formula out there, but synthetic breast milk, he is also being part of that as well. And I'm sorry, but I don't trust the gentleman. I don't trust his wife, the foundation, anybody linked to him, including Flip Flop and Fauci. I'm sorry, but people like that who've created vacations that kill people, what's to say they wouldn't put something in their synthetic meat? I just can't even think about it.
Mike, I was back in Texas about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I go back and forth. But now that I've been down here in Mexico, about 4 years ago, I made the decision to move. And then in November is when I first made a move down. So I've been here about 3.5 years. And when I first came down, the food is so healthy that it made me sick. It took me 6 months for my system to adjust to the food. They have laws down here so that the corn that you get for people cannot be GMOs. Their food laws are much more protective of the general population than the United States. And so when I first came down here and started really focusing on the food, I was truly shocked. I am still shocked today. When I was back 3 or 4 weeks ago and I ate the food in the United States, now that food makes me sick. And I try to eat the salads and I try to just eat the eggs and I try to eat the simple stuff. But honestly, when I came back, I was sick from the food. So the question about Bill Gates and the meat, there's no way that I would eat something that was manufactured by a company that he owns. And I would be very careful about anything I gave to a baby. The attack that is going on is against the children, Uvalde,
Yes.
and the babies. And we just went through. It's against the older people and the children. And their goal is the Georgia Guidestones, which we just talked about on that little whiteboard. And if people in chat are not familiar with the Georgia Guidestones and how that is connected to the UN, then that you really do need to research that. So what they're doing now with baby formula and what they might replace it with, honestly, it kind of turns my stomach.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be very, very careful. I know that there have been people on YouTube putting up how to make your own formula. That would be my first recommendation. I have a friend here, when he goes back and forth, he loads up baby formula from here in Mexico and takes it up into Texas to one of the churches up there for people who are just in dire straits. But the attack is on the food. Do not be naive. Do not be.
Well,
Grow your own.
remember Gates is also one of the biggest landowners too. He bought up all the land.
He
And
is.
yes,
He is the
he is
biggest.
still. Yeah.
May I state that I did a little research on that, and I know that that's kind of been all over the place. And you can kind of play around with numbers, but I'm going to give you an optimistic view of that. With
Okay.
all of the land that is available throughout the Midwest, the Corn Belt, and all the various farmland throughout Missouri and headed on out into Kansas, where we have such a large production ability. I saw that when they did a comparison, that Bill Gates owned like less than 2%. And so I think part of that too is about the fear, how much they have control of. Truly, how do we know what to believe anymore? We get
True.
information from over here, we get information from over here. I have provided information that has been incorrect. And so we just have to constantly be in a state of being willing to look at new information, new sources, and decipher what is real and what isn't. And so even though that's been out there, I truly believe that the percentage that he has been able to buy up is not quite as large. But there's no question, Mike, you're absolutely correct. A lot of these farmers have been selling out to the government. They've been selling out to these companies, and but people just, we don't have to wake up, but we
Yeah.
sure should.
Yeah.
We sure
Well,
should.
a lot of people where I'm at here, there's a town that's like about 15 miles away, and it's all country, and it's been generational owned of families, farms and stuff. And as the generations have, the last generation has grown up, the kids have gone away, the adults just decide to sell their property, sell the farmland. It's just too expensive, too much work. They don't want to do it anymore, and they sell it to builders, and they are building subdivisions in what used to be farmlands and stuff. And the town and people, some of them are just not happy about it. They want to fight back, but they don't have the money to be able to buy it themselves. So they do what they have to do. There's choices they have to make for their lives. But it is a breaking down of that farmland that's been here since the beginning. So it is kind of sad to see. But
Mhm.
people do have decisions they have to make, tough ones sometimes.
Well, I want to stick up for the farmers and say this. I can tell you without a doubt, farmers and farming families and communities are a very proud people. They
Mhm.
they wake up early and they work hard and they enjoy working hard. Farmers are not selling out because they think, "Oh man, if I sell that piece of property, I'm going to be a multimillionaire." The government is forcing them to sell out. The government
That's
makes
right.
it so difficult for farming families to make
Yes.
an income that eventually what happens is these bankers come in, BlackRock, Vanguard, and the likes of them. They come in and threaten foreclosure on them, and they do all this stuff to these farming families to where that's their only option is to sell out. So to all you farmers out there and farming families, God bless each and
Yeah.
every one of you who are still out there plowing the ground and planting that seed. We need you. You are just as big a part of America as anything out there. And shame on the bankers and shame on our government for what they've done to these farming families.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. That, to have a community, if communities could just come together like they did before and get rid of all this city stuff so much and just be a community and support each other, it'd be great. But like I said, some people just don't have that option right now. So I feel for them. It's not like they want to give it up, but they have to give it up. They are left with no choice. So it's just tough. So
Amen. Well, who's next? Mary, you got something on the backside of that whiteboard?
Yeah, it just came to me this afternoon that we hadn't seen the whiteboard in a while. I probably need to pull that out and give some people a little bit of something to remember. Let's see. I can't think of anything else right now. Can't think of
I
anything else.
I have more because, like Mike, I swear I could go like all night. You just got to tell me. I just looked at the time. I'm like, okay, is he going to want to end it? And you're like, no more. So I'm like, woohoo,
I'm
because I
in
got
no I'm
something
in
else.
no rush. I'm in no
Okay.
rush. Go for it.
Okay. Well, an update on Kyle Rittenhouse. Okay. So Kyle Rittenhouse came out with something recently. And if you remember, he was 17 when he, sh- you know, disabled and made deceased, I guess a nice way to say it, the two rioters that were in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So we all know he went through all kinds of heck and craziness, that they target him from the get-go. And he's saying his life has been a nightmare trying, because even though he got acquitted on all charges, the slander that the media put him through and everything it's just been so destructive for him and his family, his friends. He said that everywhere he goes, he needs security. He can't go anywhere alone. So I wouldn't
Wow.
even be able to imagine that, because, you don't know who's going to do what to you, because there's some people that still believe that he was in error and wrong, that he did. But the positive thing is that he said that he's moving to Texas and he's going to start attending Texas A&M. So good for him, because he said he
Yep.
missed most of his high school and all that. He's had troubles all this time, but also a new development in his defamation case, because he's going against the media and all these people that basically destroyed years of his life, and he's still under protection. He hired attorney Todd McMurdy, who successfully defended another person for defamation through the media. So the point is that he's still fighting back. He was a teenager, And he does have a good lawyer, and hopefully justice will be served, because he's been waiting for this for a long time. And stop and think how you guys would feel being put through what he was put through, not even at that age, at our age now, and knowing you can't step out of your house without having this haunt you over and over again, even though you've been cleared. So the media definitely needs to be held accountable, because this is America, and this is wrong to do this to people, citizens. So I give the kid a lot of credit.
He's a fighter. That kid at 17 had more stones than most grown men who won't stand up for what's right. And I said, and I won't backpedal what I said. I think Kyle should have probably not put himself in that situation. I know he was trying really hard, but man, when you're all alone, probably not a good place to be all alone. So
Right.
I think there could have been maybe some different decisions, but I wasn't there. I wasn't in his shoes. But what I will say is that man had to make some hard decisions, and it made him a man really quick. But for him to stand up for his rights and to try to stand for America and try to protect America at a 17-year-old kid like that, that's all he wanted to do. He wanted to protect America, and I believe he bleeds red, white, and blue. And I have a lot of respect for Kyle. I just wish I wish he didn't have to go down that road, because that's something that he's going to have to live with for the rest of his life, whether he's innocent. That's just something that I wouldn't want to have to live with, knowing that I had to pull the trigger. So, all respect to Kyle, and God bless him. And I hope he makes it through this last lawsuit and prevails with God's help.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember too, we've got him, and then we just talked about, on the Podbean, Mike, about the J6 people and what they're going through. And on the other hand, you've got all these people that destroyed cities, during the Summer of Love, as they call it. And so many of them have not been found or searched out. Let's put it that way. They have them
Never
on
will
video
be.
and stuff. Yeah.
Never
So
will be.
they've intentionally destroyed and caused destruction and death, and injured people, would beat people on the streets. And those people go through free, and the media says, oh, remember the reporter, that guy, I forget what he was, and the building's burning behind him. And he's
CNN,
like,
communist news networks.
and he's like, these are mostly peaceful as the building's burning. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, there's definitely, a hypocrisy with who gets into trouble and who doesn't. And that's, I guess, my whole point is, in this world we live in nowadays, we really just have to stand up and fight and stand up for our rights, not just the Second Amendment, but about the slander that some people go through. It's undeserved, and it's not fair. And, the media is another venue that needs to be taken completely down and wiped out and started over, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get too riled up on the J6 stuff. I already got wound up on it earlier today on Podbean. I'll hand that over to Mary and let her give it a 1-2, because I could go on for hours about how this is a bunch of hogwash. I'm just going to leave it there.
Well, real quick, somebody said in chat, Nancy's off limits. They said you can't subpoena her at all or testify. I didn't hear that. The J6 committee said that. I didn't hear that one. That's going to light a fire under my rear right now. Go ahead, Mary. Sorry.
No. It's just hard for me to fathom that they have been held illegally in the foreign, how do I say this? In the foreign piece of land that is a corporation and not part of the United States. That's the only way it really could have happened. is that they have been held so illegally as just essentially political prisoners. And to see how this is unfolding, I mean, we get more and more information. It's like, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's coming to your neighborhood.
Absolutely.
And I don't mean to sound pessimistic. It's just like everybody, it's time to stop being naive. It's time to stop.
And I'll say too, there's a lot of people to look up to, like, the 17-year-old that stood up for himself, like this Jake Lang who's standing up. There are people standing up. Greg Phillips, who is the expert for all this stuff. Catherine, who is a True the Vote leader or creator, founder. I mean, if you look, it isn't pessimistic, Mary. It's just letting people know, look what's going on out there. And there are people that are heroes or / leaders that you can follow and look up to and get some guidance and some inspiration from. It isn't hopeless. And I guess that's the point of bringing all this kind of stuff up is, hey, there's somebody out there that you can look up to, and they're all different ages. They come from all different backgrounds. And, there is hope, and there are people. And, I think it is a good time. It's a good time now from this point on. I mean, it'll be rough, but I'm very optimistic, and a lot is getting exposure. I mean, a lot, what was dark is being brought to the light, in my opinion.
Exactly. That's right, Tammy. And no, we're not being pessimistic. If I'm living in denial about a problem, I can't get into the solution. And it's just like Mike says in the intro, if you're not part of the problem, if you're not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. And so the way to be aware of what's going on, we have to talk about this stuff. And then what is the solution? Jesus Christ and God the Father Almighty. God wins. We've all read the book. We read the last page. We know how it ends. We are going to win. But in the meantime, we want to try to let people know that it's time for them to get out there and take care of themselves, prep, and take care of their families, do what they can to try to minimize what's happening here, and constantly turn to God in prayer.
And it's not a time to be passive and say, well, I can't do anything about it. Oh, well, and turn and walk away. No. It's time to grab your spear, grab your sword, grab your whatever that you have, put on that armor of God, and get out there and warrior on and do something and make a difference. Be a little more aggressive. I'm not saying cause problems, obviously. I'm just saying let that energy flow through you instead of it being defeatist and, I give up. Use that recharge and change that energy to say, I'm not going to fail. Through God, I'm going to win. I'm going to be part of the change. I can make a difference. And wherever that part of the spectrum is, because there's plenty of places out there in that world that they could use your help, that different parts, whatever floats your boat, get out there and do something. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
I seen a lot of comments in chat. Well, what do we do from here? How can we fight back? I'll share something personal with you guys that happened to me this afternoon. Had a conversation, felt very defeated in the conversation, prayed about it, and next thing I know, and this is what I'm going to suggest to all of you. Prayer is our greatest gift, and pray for wisdom. What I mean by that is, after I got off the phone and got back on the phone, all of a sudden I just started getting flooded with all kinds of wisdom to help me through the situation that I'm in. America needs prayer, and we need to all pray together for wisdom, not only for ourselves, wisdom for our elected officials, wisdom for our county sheriffs, wisdom for our military. We need wisdom, because when this all starts to shift, I'm going to follow my gut. I'm going to follow the wisdom that God grants me on what I need to do. Does that mean take to the streets and protest? If that's what God calls me to do, that's exactly what I'll do. I don't know what the answers are to all this. What I do know is this country has been falling apart because we took God out of it, and we're not praying anymore. We're not leaning on
Absolutely.
Him when the times are the toughest. So that's all I can tell you guys for right now. Is pray and ask for wisdom, and He'll show us the way. This is all His plan. He's got the path laid out before us. We just need Him to turn the lights on.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. It is true because it's very easy, Mike and Mary, as you know, to feel defeated on a daily basis. It is a constant ebb and flow of emotions when different things hit and you see different things or different things happen to you from people. And it is the energy out there is strong, and you either pipe in and tap into the good, or the bad energy is going to take you down real fast. There's no in between on the fence right now. You have to choose a side and tap into the right energy. And I would pray that it would be the good energy, and it'll just make things so much better and easier for you. And you're right, Mike. You can be taken down real fast, but you can also rebound just as fast if you pray.
Amen. Well, ladies,
That's
I think I'm gonna. Sorry, Mary. I'm gonna let you go and talk here, Mary. But I'm gonna roll in to final thoughts right after you get done with your comment. Um, I think tonight has been a great conversation. So, Mary, your comment, and then we'll roll into final thoughts.
I was just going to say that part of the new technology that is coming out is the awareness of the power of sound. And so, as we're out there and we're trying to decide what we can do, of course, we pray. We pray for knowledge of God's will and the power to carry it out. We pray as much as we possibly can. We don't shop at Walmart. We spend our money with other patriots. We go to the school boards. We do whatever we can as close to where we live as we can to try to change our local area. That's so important. But as far as the power of sound, I one of the things that I have been doing recently is I've been going to YouTube, and I turn on and I watch carefully to see what the megahertz are. Hollywood came out with, and they started changing the megahertz, I think back in the 50s or 60s, in the music that was being put out, because they know that it has a disturbing effect. The vibrational power sound is very, very strong. We all know we can hear a song from our childhood, from an event that happened, that brings back all of those emotions. So one of the things that I have been doing to make sure I keep my energy up, to try to keep my attitude up, to try to remain in conscious contact with God, because we all have struggles going on. That's just the reality. Is I go onto YouTube and I make sure I go to Christian gospel music, and I make sure the megahertz is, what is it, guys? I can't remember the number.
I don't,
430, 432.
435 or something, I think.
I don't remember the exact one, but then it also can have, in addition to that, those megahertz playing in the background in my home. It can also have, I go where they are constantly reading scripture, constantly reading the Psalms,
Yes.
whatever it takes. So I'm getting double information there, and we all need to do whatever we can to make sure that we are exposing ourselves to that higher level. Turn on Gregorian chants if that's
Oh,
where you get your peace.
that's my
Mhm.
thing. That is playing
Yeah.
all the time. I fell
Mhm.
in love with that, and it's so good. You can it's amazing. But
Mhm.
no matter what you're doing, I play that a lot.
Mhm.
And my final thought is going to be, you know what, you guys, it's really time also. And I said this probably a couple of months ago about self-reflection and improving yourself, because if you aren't good in yourself, you can't be good for anybody else. And now's not a time, I don't think, to try to pull people along anymore. You can let people join you, but they have to make that choice. You can't try to prove them or say, hey, listen to me, this and this and this. I think we're past that. And it's time just to try to focus on yourself, heal your problems and issues. And any choice you make or anything you say and do has to be what's best for you through God. And then he's going to take care of the rest. Don't be influenced by anything else. Just take care of you. And you know what? You're going to be okay. Because I don't think we've ever done that, spent all the time taking care of ourselves first and fixing things with ourselves, because we're either people pleasers or we want to try to impress people. We've got all this other crap going on in the world. This is not the time for that. It is time to just pause and take time for yourself. And I hope everybody does that, because you deserve it. And that's my final thought.
Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me this evening. It's been a great conversation. My final thought's going to be very short, sweet, and to the point. Stay prayed up, stay prepped up, stand tall, chin up, get involved, roll your sleeves up, and go to work, because now is our time in history, folks. This is God's movement, and when it's all said and done, every knee will bow and every tongue will confess, without a doubt. And I want to be part of that. So thanks for joining me tonight, ladies. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for devotions. If you guys want to join us there, I'll be back for headline hits. And tomorrow's my last night for the big show. And then Thursday, we'll roll into these two wonderful ladies, into Ladies of Liberty. So if you guys haven't seen that show yet, come check them out.
Okay. Very good. All right. God bless. Peace out, everybody. Bye.
See you guys.
Hoping for a sincere performance, but open to finding the moment, to finding out where I'm headed now. Looking for a sign of disaster, so I can make it there faster. I'm weighing the consequences out.